color, so the trunk caliper is going to take a little longer for it to get any size to it, any mature size to it. Uh, Different varieties, different heights.
Right. Well, like I said, this one, the white one, is like twice the height of the red one.
Now, is
All
it
right,
shading? You're welcome. Yeah, I was just going to ask,
Oh,
is it shading? Is the white one shading the other one now?
no.
Oh, okay, okay. So it'll just do
So,
its thing. Enjoy the wonderful blooms through the summer.
yeah, well, I enjoy the white one because I can really sit out underneath there, and it seems like it makes a difference in the temperature.
Sure does.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for being on the air, and thank you, WOCA. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sonny.
You know, he makes a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
We have a white crepe myrtle in the corner of the front corner of our backyard, and it's probably 15, 20 foot tall.
Right.
And it has massive.
Right.
Yeah. And then we have another little crepe myrtle in the front yard that's the lavender variety.
Okay.
And it's got a little bitty trunk. And the one in the backyard's got a trunk that's probably size of a small water oak.
Right.
And the one in front has a trunk that's probably 5 inches in diameter.
Okay, yeah.
And it's a lot shorter.
Right.
But it's got the lavender blooms on it and everything. Yeah. And it's the same. It's a crepe myrtle's crepe myrtle,
Still
but they're different.
But there are different varieties of them. There's different and that's nice because you can find, if you do your research a little bit ahead of time, you can put them in different areas of the yard based upon their mature size.
Right.
And so.
Good morning. You're on with Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning. 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
One, Carolyn, are you the voice on the Mike Scott commercial?
Nope. Not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Second question. We have crepe murders in the yard that's been there for 50 years since the house was built.
Uh-huh.
They won't flower. They won't bloom. Is there anything I can do to get them to bloom?
They don't bloom even later in the season?
Do not bloom. We've lived in this house 11 years. They have not bloomed. We trim them. We keep up the crepe murder look, but they won't bloom.
Okay. Normally pruning goes on in very early spring, sometime like mid-February. We try not to do the crepe murder, but if that's what you're needing to do to keep them in the size, that's what goes on, because they bloom on new growth. So if you're pruning frequently, you might be pruning off any bloom that might be coming on.
Right, the bloom is done. The pruning is usually done like February, once a year.
And but then they don't bloom after that.
They do not. It's like they're holding a grudge.
Oh wow, maybe they are. And of course, because they've been in the ground that long, they usually don't need fertilization. Are they in full sun?
Yes, they are.
And they're still in full sun. You've got me on that. I don't know why. I mean, because I can see where sometimes one will just, maybe slow down on the blooming, but, even the maturity of the tree, they should be fine on that. Pruning's not, occurring throughout the year. Because I wouldn't even try this now, only because it's a rainy season. I would say in spring you might try to add, say, a bloom booster type fertilizer, which has got the higher center number, not as a liquid form, but as a granulated fertilizer. But they should. I'm not sure why they would not, or especially not all of them, not bloom. Having an oddball not bloom, it's just sort of going, okay, that one got off cycle or something like that. But they should be blooming.
I'll try that. We're the only house on the whole street with rebellious crepe murders, so I will give your a shot in the spring. Thank you. I always enjoy it.
All right, you're welcome. Uh-huh.
We at Ocala Golf Club.
Yeah.
They do a crepe murder about once every 3 years.
Okay.
Where
yeah, where
there's
take
nothing on them.
Yeah.
And the ones that separate the 8 tee box and the 5 tee box, they cut them down to about 5 feet.
Okay.
And then they grow probably back up to about 8 feet by the time they do it.
Right.
Now, the ones on 13, which protect the right side of the fairway from your tee shot, they take those. They're about 10 foot
Okay.
when they cut them down.
Okay.
And they come back, and it's amazing how quick they come back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they take them off in February. They do them in early February,
right, and they're
and
blooming
by
come
late
June.
March,
Yeah.
but late March, you see stuff starting to poke out, and by June, you didn't know they were murdered if you hadn't seen that they were murdered.
Right. The size isn't quite as high,
Right.
but yeah, you've got your bloom usually going on.
And I mean, bush out quick.
Right. Oh yeah, they do, and that's why we do it in February is because they're getting ready to burst, to get ready to come through. Crepe myrtle bloom on new growth. That's why anytime if your tree's blooming real nice, if you can reach it when most of the blooms are finished during a bloom, if you trim those off, not cut it back, trim those off, the seed pods, it'll flush out new growth again and bloom some more. I'm not sure why that's not blooming. I'll try to take a look here between this week and next and see if there's any other answer. I know with fruit trees, if they don't fruit, been known to take a rope, a chain, a stick, something to the trunk of them, and just you beat on them a few times, not enough to break the trunk, and that
Loosens up whatever's
it
inside.
does whatever's inside, and boom, the next year you've got bloom and fruit set. I don't know if that can work with a crepe myrtle.
This will give you an idea of how much the wind was blowing yesterday during
Right.
the storm.
Oh, it looked like it
Our
snowed.
crepe myrtle sits in the front corner of the backyard.
Okay.
Right, I mean, literally with the chain link fence within a foot on each
Okay,
side of
right.
it. Okay. About 30 feet from that chain link is our driveway.
Okay.
The side of both cars that sit facing that chain link were covered in crepe myrtle
The
blooms
blooms. Yeah.
after it rained yesterday.
Wow. And so,
So
yeah,
it blew.
that
It was hard
blowing.
enough to keep that crepe myrtle bloom in the air for a
To
good
carry
30,
it,
35
yeah, to
feet
carry
where
it
it
over.
splattered against the car.
And stuck. Yeah.
That's how bad the wind was blowing
That's
yesterday.
a pretty strong wind.
And the crepe myrtles right now are in so much beautiful bloom.
They're blooming.
I mean,
wonderfully.
they're just beautiful.
Yeah, they're blooming wonderfully. And I
And bees.
attribute-
We got bees in our. You go to that
Oh,
crepe
yeah.
myrtle tree, there are bees everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, it's just that we had the kind of winter that made our azaleas gorgeous in early spring.
Popped.
And I think the dryness that we had in spring attributed to the azaleas, but I think also to the crepe myrtles as well. That the cooler winter that we had.
They're really, really
because
nice
I know
right now.
I read it somebody's post on one of the Facebook pages I go to, and they were saying how gorgeous they were in Georgia. Well, Georgia has a winter that stays cold or gets cold, stays cold longer than ours
Yes.
does. Even though I think their last frost date isn't a whole lot past ours. Where we're mid March, they're probably mid-April.
I live
on that,
in
and-
Ocala
Yeah.
because South Georgia's too cold.
Right. Yes, it is. But that theirs were doing, and everybody says, "Oh, they're so much prettier up there." Well, it's because of the winters. The little better dormancy on the dormant period. I think a little drier in that earlier spring.
Well, that's what people
than
don't
that,
understand.
yeah.
People go, why do the azaleas look so much brighter and vibrant in Augusta?
Yeah.
And well, first off, it's because they spend millions of dollars on them every year. Second off, it's because the flower beds have heaters in them. Okay.
to trigger the proper blooming.
Right.
But even just in
But it's
if
also because
anybody's
they have a
been in
longer
Augusta,
dry
yeah.
period and a longer winter.
Right. Exactly. If you've been into Georgia, into the Carolinas, and the crepe myrtles, the azaleas, the dogwoods. Dogwoods, though it says
I love
Florida in their
dogwoods.
name, they really are happier a little
In
further
Georgia.
in Georgia and up into the Carolinas. And they're also happier where they naturally grow, which is as an understory tree in the
Yeah, they grow
wooded
under
areas.
stuff. They don't.
It's
not supposed to be out in the center of the yard by itself.
It's not a focus tree. It's an understory. You can make it a focus if you've got a high, nice high canopy, and you can tuck one up underneath there. Then they'll be happy.
I tell you what, the vibrancy of the flowers in Georgia. I mean, you go to Callaway Gardens, it's not even close. And the thing is, it's because they have something that we don't have here. And you can go to Georgia, people go, "Oh, you got to go to North Carolina." No, you don't.
No.
You can go to Blairsville, Georgia, and see as vibrant a leaf changing as you will see in Vermont.
Right. And they're different trees.
It's different trees.
Different trees, and actually even here in Central Florida, we do have trees that change color. We may not have the masses of them, but we do have trees, and you can plant trees that will change color here in Central Florida.
But they have them there just people. If you want to go, people go, we're going to see the leaf change, and they go to North Carolina, and they go to Virginia,
right,
and they
up
go
into the mountains,
and I'm like, you do realize the mountains of Georgia have the same tree change.
Yes. It takes crossing
Brasstown
into
Bald.
Central Florida to get into that subtropical to where you're finding trees that don't change.
I mean, Brasstown Bald, the highest spot in the state of Georgia, is still over 6,000 feet.
Right.
So
you're still getting, and you're getting color.
People forget
and the cooler temperatures.
Atlanta's 1,600 feet above sea level. Okay,
Right.
That's what people forget. Right. You drive around some areas of Roswell and Alpharetta and Crabapple in North Atlanta.
Right.
And you can get vibrant leaf changing.
Oh, certainly.
Because it's the foothills of the Smoky Mountains.
It is a different climate. That's why we say, when you come into Florida, forget what you knew about gardening up north.
Well, yeah,
because it is.
And when she means up north, she means Atlanta.
Right.
Because it gets cool. It starts getting cool in Atlanta where you have the 75-degree days and the 55-degree nights. That starts happening in late September, early October in Atlanta.
We were in Savannah. Savannah's just over the Florida line. Really.
Well,
it's a couple hours.
It's an hour above this Florida state line. Yeah.
But it's not far.
No, it's not far at all.
And it was maybe early November.
And it was cold.
It was snow flurry.
Yeah.
I was very cold because the laundry was in the washer and dryer, and I had shorts.
Yeah,
is what I had left because hey, we were from Florida. It doesn't get that cold until
Well, I moved.
I had warmer clothes, but yes, we were quite cold.
I moved to Georgia the last time I moved to Georgia from Florida was my junior year of high school, and I moved to Atlanta, in with my mother, and I had board shorts and jobber hats and OP t-shirts.
Yeah.
And I got up there. I went to a half a month of school, all of September actually in Jacksonville, and then got to Atlanta in October.
Oh,
I was underdressed.
Yes. Yes.
But in Florida and even in Jacksonville in October,
you were okay.
Shorts and a t-shirt's fine.
You were okay. Yeah.
And we're not talking about a whole lot of difference. Jacksonville to Atlanta is what, 4 hours, 4.5 maybe.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a whole lot of changes.
Right.
Once you get on 16, it's an hour to get to Savannah, then 3.5 hours to Atlanta. It's like 4.5. And the weather change.
Is because you're going up, like you say, to the foothills.
Because you're going up.
Yes, you're going. Yes, your elevation is changing from sea level to.
People don't realize, and I say this, and you've said it numerous times on this show, just the temperature change from where the jet stream, because the jet stream seems to dip and turn back up in the prairie.
Right.
About Payne's Prairie, Micanopy is where it's about as low as the jet stream gets. So in the wintertime, it could be 40 degrees in Gainesville and be 52, 53 degrees at Ocala.
It can be at different times, yeah. And then even here in the summer, just have a storm come through and watch temperature change. Gainesville, just a few weeks ago, it was like Gainesville was
in the mid-70s.
In the mid-70s, and we were like 85 degrees, 90 degrees. It was.
It's funny how and if you ever watch weather and you ever get into climate and everything, it's very strange how right there at Payne's Prairie, about Payne's Prairie is where the jet stream drips.
It's the shape of the state in that area that allows that to happen.
People go, the shape of the state. People forget we live on a peninsula.
Yes.
But really, it's an island that's attached to the United States.
Right.
I mean, it literally is.
That's what a peninsula
is. It's
Yeah,
really an island that is attached.
Yes. Yeah, it's got a.
And if we'd have let the people who thought they were smart cut the bargeway through, it would have been an island.
It would, at least the bottom part would have been,
622-9622. Still got about a couple minutes to go with Carol Ann Baldwin. So I hope that answered the question about orchids.
I hope so. Yeah, and always ask it if they want to ask a little more detailed. Text Tom. We'll find out. get a little more detail.
Because there are different orchids that probably do better here than other
Sure,
ones.
there are, and how much care, there's do some research on which ones would be best.
Unique hobby, though, I would think.
Definitely, and a lot of people have it. I mean, there are folks, and sometimes you can start out with ones that, if you don't want to spend a lot, find the ones on the discount racks in the stores, and play with those, and because that way you're not losing as much money if you fail the first few times.
Is it still? I remember in the 70s when I was a kid,
right?
and maybe it was my perception as a kid,
Right.
but growing flowers and going to flower competitions were a big deal. But my mom grew roses, so she, is it still a vibrant thing where people still go to flower shows? And
certainly. There's still the camellia shows and that of course this last
prize-winning
year,
roses, stuff like that. Yeah.
Prize-winning roses, prize-winning camellias, orchids, same kind of thing. There's still.
Because we would about once a month we'd go to a rose
and things
some
like
flower
that.
show.
I think there's different ones and there's different seasons obviously for them. And if that is your hobby, all the different ones.
She had my mom had 50 rose bushes that were cordoned off in the back corner of the yard.
Don't get near those.
The dogs couldn't get near them.
No.
She had the tomato cages up, so rabbits and
so
all couldn't get.
Nobody's going to come through and chew
And
on them or
get
pee
get
on
caught
them.
out there in your mom's rose garden.
Oh yeah, you're going to find yourself your switch.
It was not it was not good.
But
my sister one time said, "I want to get a switch out of the rose garden, see what that feels like." I go, "You're just dumb.
Yeah. What are you?
You taking your
got
brain
thorns,
out, and throwing it against the wall? It's got thorns on it."
It's got thorns, girl. One thing I did want to say, I put it on the In the Garden Facebook group page. If you're contemplating seeding for your vegetables and flowers this coming fall, next spring, you might want to go hit up those seed racks now before they one day just vanish, because when the order comes down from up above that they go away, they go away. I was in Walmart the other week, and I got realizing I didn't see their seed racks.
Gone.
It was just like one of those things going, oh, they're not here. We still have ours. Big box store. I'm not sure about the other one, but where I'm at, it has not, because last year we actually sold out, so we may be keeping them as long as possible. But if the order comes down, they'll be in one day.